In today's video, we're gonna go over the most common mistakes that are most likely costing you your ranked games. And I wanna make this video as short as possible, so let's get straight into it. So one of the most common mistakes I see as a champion is people usually don't mask their audio when they do anything. So let's say I'm in one of the sites and I start planning. Whoever's in the other site is gonna hear me, therefore they're gonna start applying pressure to me. But there is a way to plant and not let the other team know. For this example, I'm Ash, so what you can do is I'm gonna shoot my Ash charge down, and as soon as this goes off, I'm gonna start planning, and this is what it looks like. And as you can see, the Ash charge is going to mask the sound of me initially putting down the diffuser, so that way they hear the Ash charge instead of me planning. So this also works with gridlock. So for example, if I throw one of my gridlocks down, it's going to start making enough noise, so if I start planning, they're not going to hear me plant, instead they're going to hear the gridlock tracks going off. Another situation where it's really important to mask your audio is if you're going to rappel into a window. For example, just normally rappelling in like this is extremely loud, and they're going to know you rappelled in from miles away. But to mask your audio as you're rappelling in, all you're going to want to do is start shooting, so that way the enemies hear your gunshots instead of you rappelling in. And some of you might be thinking, why would I shoot and give up my position? In most cases, if someone's nearby, they're going to hear you rappel in anyway. And if I'm a defender and I hear you rappel in, I'm just going to go and pre-fire this, and it's just going to be a free kill for me. But if you start shooting and I'm down this hallway, I'm not going to hear you rappel in. Instead, I'm going to hear gunshots. So those gunshots, they can be coming from down here, they can be coming from outside of the window, they can be on the roof. I'm not going to know exactly where the gunshots are coming from. I just know that there are gunshots. Compared to you not shooting, again, I'm going to know you're rappelling in, so I'm just going to go ahead and pre-fire this, again, giving me a free kill. So in this situation, I would much rather have someone hear me shooting instead of rappelling in, so that way I don't get pre-fired. This same logic does apply to dropping a hatch. So if I were to just normally drop, it's going to make a really loud noise, and everyone around me is going to hear that I dropped. So for example, if I'm a defender in sight and I hear a hatch drop, I know you're going to be right here, so I'm going to swing you because I know your position. But again, shooting is going to mask your sound, but it's not going to necessarily make it quiet. So if I'm an attacker and I want to drop this hatch, but I don't want people to know that I dropped, again, all you have to do is start shooting as you drop. So for example, it's going to look like this. The sound of the gunshots is going to completely overpower the sound of you dropping, so they're going to hear gunshots instead of you dropping. And one last time, if I'm a defender and I'm sitting in this room, again, I'm only going to hear gunshots, I'm not going to hear you drop. And if I'm in this room, we know how siege sound is, so I'm not going to know exactly where the gunshots are coming from. They can be bottom main stairs, bottom square, in this hallway. You're not going to know exactly where they are. Compared to if I heard a drop, obviously I know where you're going to be. And one last situation where you can mask your audio is if you're going to prone in the middle of a gunfight. And I don't mean just randomly proning as you're getting shot at. Let me explain what I mean. So for example, let's say there's someone on this door and I'm getting shot at, and I'm not necessarily winning the gunfight right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to back up and I'm going to prone, so when they do swing me, they're going to expect me to be head height, not on the floor. But here's the thing, if I don't make any sound to cover up being proning, they're going to hear it because proning is really loud, and then they're just going to aim at the floor and get a free kill on you anyway. But to mask the sound of you proning, you're simply just going to shoot as you prone. So that way, again, they're going to hear the gunshots, not you proning. And in this situation, if they hear gunshots instead of you proning, they're just going to assume you're standing or crouched. They're not going to necessarily look at the floor. Another really common mistake I see is people usually don't drone correctly. And there are a few reasons to why your droning is incorrect, and I'm going to explain to you exactly that. So for the first and most common mistake is people drone way too many rooms ahead of them at one time. So if I'm solo pushing Visa, and I go to drone, obviously I'm gonna drone at Visa first, and it's gonna look completely clear to me. Then I'm gonna go drone this hallway. Okay, it looks clear to me. I drone tellers, it looks good. I drone bottom spiral, it looks good. I can even drone main lobby, and it's gonna look completely clear. But as soon as I get off my drone and I enter Visa, boom, I die because there's someone in this corner and I didn't realize. Now at this point, a lot of people are going to be like, how did I just die? I just droned it and it was clear. But what a lot of people don't take into consideration is defenders actually have legs. So all that time I took droning Visa, droning bottom spiral, main lobby, someone came down these stairs and hid in this corner because they knew I was going to walk around and it was going to be a free kill for them. So you should really only be droning 1 to 2 rooms ahead of you at a time, because that way the information you get while you're droning is current. For example, if I was to drone Visa, this hallway, and bottom spiral all at the same time, the information I just got on bottom spiral is going to be current because that was what I last droned. But since I took an extra 15 seconds droning this hallway and bottom spiral, that means that's an extra 15 seconds people can have to rotate into Visa, which I very first droned and I thought was clear. So another reason your droning is incorrect is because you're not clearing your corners and you're not droning good enough. So for example, if I throw a drone down and I want to drone inside a piano, what a lot of people do is they'll drone like this and they'll say, oh my god, okay, piano's clear, I'm gonna walk in, and then boom, I died to a kid in a corner because I didn't check my corners and I didn't drone thoroughly enough. So to fix this, all you have to do is just look left and right when you drone. So for example, if I'm just droning this room like this and I think it's clear, it's wrong because obviously I didn't check my corners. But by simply looking left and right as you're droning, this is going to cover so much more area, and it's going to check those corners that people usually rat in. Another really common mistake I see a lot of players make is they usually don't know when and when not to swing. One tip I can give you is if someone's pre-firing you, what people tend to do is they'll sometimes swing into the pre-fire hoping that they'll run out of bullets. But in this situation, this is where you're going to really want to be patient because you're going to want to swing after they stop shooting so that way you know they don't have any more bullets in their gun. Another tip I can give you is when you get quick peeked or you see someone peeking you, do not stay in the same spot. Doing this, as you can see, is just going to get you pre-fired and you're just not going to have any time to react. Here's what you should do instead. As soon as you can see that you got spotted, you're going to want to switch positions so that way when they pre-fire, they're not going to be aiming at you. And this can be anywhere from physically moving to just simply standing up or crouching. Now, when you swing, you also want to make sure that you don't do it slowly like this because they're going to see you way before you see them. Therefore, you're going to get killed first. Now, when you do find a time to swing, you want to make sure you fully commit. Therefore, the enemy has less time to react to you. And just as an example, this is what it looks like when you slowly swing versus what it looks like when you fully commit to the swing. But moving on to the next tip, if you get droned and they see where you are, this is where you're going to want to swing, because if you don't, you're going to get pre-fired. Now, swinging the enemy could catch them off guard, but this isn't always the case. In some situations, it is smarter to just reposition and hold an angle. Now, once again, if you are able to find a situation where you can swing somebody, you're not going to want to swing just full sprinting because you're going to get caught off guard and you're going to die just like this. Now, instead of sprinting and trying to get there as fast as you can, you're going to want to keep your gun up at all times, so just in case they do turn around and swing you, you're going to be prepared for it. Now, in this specific situation, you should definitely take your time because you would much rather be alive to help your team rather than easily getting picked off because you're not ready. Now, for the last most common mistake I see is a lot of people don't understand how perspective works. Now, as you can see in this clip, I'm able to see the enemy's head perfectly fine, but from their point of view, this is what they see. There's no one in sight and still yet somehow I'm getting killed. And this is exactly where perspective kicks in. Since I'm so close to this door frame, everything that's in front of me is getting blocked because my face is directly in front of this wall. Now, to fix this, it's super simple. All you're going to want to do is back up so that way your face isn't directly in front of the wall. This way, the wall itself isn't going to block off your vision so you can see a lot more that's in front of you. And by backing up, this is also going to make your body farther away from the wall so that way the defender has to swing up a little bit closer to even see you.